Good day! Healthy lungs, healthy life. That's the theme of this year's National Lung Celebration. What is the state of the lung health in the Philippines? This is the topic that we'll be tackling in this episode of Business Mirror's Freshly Brewed. Like great coffee to savor, Freshly Brewed tells compelling stories through the interaction between the most interesting people and Business Mirror's roster of journalist hosts, discussing the hot issues of the day or topics still unfolding or brewing. What major lung ailments do Filipinos suffer from? Is vaping an alternative to smoking? How can we look after our lungs? These are the questions that our guest, Dr. Guinevere Dy Agra, head of the Institute of Pulmonary Medicine of St. Luke's Medical Center, Global City. Let's listen in to Dr. Dy Agra's conversation with our very own Anne Ruth Dela Cruz, BusinessMirror's Health and Fitness Editor.
A pleasant day to you all. National Lung Month is observed and celebrated every month of August by virtue of Presidential Proclamation Number 1761, signed by former President Ferdinand Marcos on July 24, 1978. This year's theme is Healthy Lungs, Healthy Life, and we are honored to have a special guest today who will discuss what we can all do to keep our lungs healthy. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our guest for today is none other than Dr. Guinevere Dy Agra, head of the Institute of Pulmonary Medicine of St. Luke's Medical Center, Global City. Good day to you, Dr. Gwen, and welcome to Freshly Brewed.
Hello.
Okay, so please tell us more about the work that you do at St. Luke's, and when did you assume the position of Institute Head?
Okay. Well, basically, as head of the Institute of Pulmonary Medicine, I coordinate most of the procedures and conferences. So parang ang role ko is for all the operations to run smoothly within our institute, no? And also for training of our residents, fellows, and also the staff. I assume post January of 2020, so baptism of fire sa akin yung pandemic.
Oh, wow. Okay. Not a good way to start your
Yes.
term. Okay. So the theme of National Lung Month is Healthy Lungs, Healthy Life. So what is the state of lung health in the Philippines?
Well, I must say we're not yet there, no?
Okay.
Because if you review the top 10 causes of morbidity and mortality in the Philippines, andun pa rin yung mga respiratory illnesses. No, number 4 would be pneumonia. That's the top cause of death. If you look at world data, most of the rates of mortality is declining. In the Philippines, among the less than 5 years old, we're already having a downward trend. But for the elderly, above 60 to 70, the mortality rate is still going high. So I think we need to work on that. Maybe another contributor would be our AIDS-related respiratory infections.
Oh, okay.
And then TB is also highly prevalent in the Philippines. We're number 4 in the world. No, we're not proud of it, but we have exerted a lot of effort to contain the disease and to promote treatment and early diagnosis. Among the non-communicable illnesses, no, we also have COPD or chronic
COPD.
obstructive pulmonary
Okay.
disease. Marami pa pong underdiagnosed or undertreated.
Okay.
And then lung cancer, among the cancers in the Philippines or even worldwide, no, lung cancer is among the top.
Yes.
Yun. And that's among some of the other minor, shall I say, minor illnesses like interstitial lung disease, pleural diseases, but overall, nandun tayo sa top top 10 causes of morbidity and mortality. That's why I don't think we're not yet there in terms of health, lung health.
Okay, so you were mentioning kanina, Doctora, that we're prone to pneumonia, to COPD, and lung cancer. So why are Filipinos prone to these ailments?
So, sa mga infectious diseases, probably in the urban areas, may overcrowding, no? And there's also poverty, malnutrition, which makes our defenses weaker.
Okay.
Now, for COPD, we still have a lot of smokers and vapors. Apart from that, indoor air pollution, no? They found out yung mga those who use wood in cooking, no, and we have poor ventilation, and also some occupational hazards, exposure to chemicals and some pollutants, urban air pollution like traffic and so on. These may contribute to COPD and other lung diseases.
Okay, as you mentioned, in the Philippines, we have a lot of smokers, and these smokers who want to stop, they switch to vaping. So many people believe that the best way to stop smoking is to vape. So once and for all, Dr. Gwen, please tell us if this motion is true or false.
Okay. So just to clarify, vaping was initially marketed or branded as a bridge to quitting smoking.
Yes, that's
So
right.
parang instead of smoking, you switch to vaping, then eventually you stop. But the WHO, CDC, and even our own DOH has already released statements that this may not be true. It may actually cause harm. Although the research between cigarette smoking and
Yes.
vaping may differ, kasi sa smoking we've been searching on that for decades already, and we know all the possible health case scenarios. But for vaping, we have yet limited knowledge. But as we all know, the chemicals used in vaping may vary, and some of these, not only nicotine, some of these chemicals may actually cause direct injury also to the lungs. So they can impair lung function, just like COPD, asthma, and so on. And they may also cause accelerated inflammation of the lungs. So in vaping, there's what we call EVALI, or e-cigarette and vaping associated pulmonary injury or lung injury. Now, these are acute cases, no? So there have been documented cases in the US or other areas, even locally, pero hindi siya directly cause and effect kasi hindi na document. But then, these are lung injuries that may even be fatal, no? So young kids, teenagers, or young adults are brought to the hospital with no apparent comorbids,
Yes,
but
that's
suddenly, upon history, strong vaping history.
So would you say the effects of vaping is more harmful compared to cigarettes, or the effects are, would you say that they're more, well, how would you say that? They are more powerful in the short term compared to, to cigarette smoking?
So it's known to have more acute problems, pero chronically, we have not followed it for decades, just like smoking. But going back to your question about quitting, no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so since some patients would justify their use of vape as a means to quit, but research shows that eventually they may use both, or so parang naging double dependence,
Yes.
or they just switch their nicotine dependence to vaping, which does not really make sense, no?
Okay.
So ultimately, I don't think it's a very good tool to quit smoking. So let's try to shelf that idea that
Okay.
vaping will be your savior to your nicotine dependence.
Okay. So what is the best way to stop smoking?
Okay, ultimately, number one for me is the willingness to quit, no?
Okay.
So we always ask the willingness to quit and assess their yung determination, no? Then we always advise them to set a quit date and so on, no? Most of the time, they can manage by just supportive measures like counseling and so on. But occasionally, we would need some medications. If they are highly dependent on nicotine, like heavy smokers, we can use some nicotine substitutes, no, gum or spray or patch,
Yeah,
no,
patch.
to help them just bridge the craving.
Okay.
Sometimes we would need some psych support to help them overcome the addiction. And some might need some medications. But overall, pinaka-important is the determination, support of the family, the people around them, so that they can be reminded.
Okay. So, to your knowledge, Doctor, has anyone died of vaping already here in the Philippines?
Okay, I was asking some of the colleagues, no?
Yes.
I think there was one documented. They sent some samples to Singapore, if I'm not mistaken, just to document the cause and effect.
Yes.
But it was a cardiovascular cause of mortality, not necessarily lung. But of course, magkapit-bahay lang si heart and
that's
lungs.
true. So no recorded death so far.
Yes,
Hopefully, and there will not
pulmonary-wise.
be.
Yes.
Okay. So recently, St. Luke's Medical Center Global City was acknowledged for excellence in pulmonary care by the 2025 Newsweek Best Specialized Hospitals in Asia Pacific list. And it apparently it was the sole hospital from the Philippines recognized in the specialty in the Asia Pacific. Congratulations, Doctor, for getting this award. So please tell us more about the services that St. Luke's Global has to offer when it comes to pulmonary care.
Okay. Siguro among private hospitals, we have one of the most comprehensive set of equipment,
Okay.
both for diagnostic and therapeutic. Meaning, to diagnose, we have some tests that we do, no? Pulmonary function test. There are some tests that are available only in our center, like metacholine challenge test. Basically, that's
Metacholine,
challenging.
okay.
That's challenging the airways if they will be hyperreactive for those who have asthma but are not diagnosed.
Okay.
Parang if you do a regular pulmonary function test, it's normal.
Yes.
Then you try if they are hyperreactive, then you
Okay.
will be able to diagnose. So we also have some tests for functional capacity, like your cardiopulmonary exercise test. No, medyo sophisticated siya.
Oh,
We have
okay.
tests to check if you can tolerate high altitudes. We have fraction of exhaled nitric oxide to measure airway inflammation.
Okay.
Then we also have facilities for like cancer, no, lung cancer detection, our PET scan, no, we have CT scan protocols for interstitial lung disease.
Okay.
There's a higher interest now. We also have a sleep lab for obstructive sleep apnea. So yun yung mga diagnostic.
Yes,
But for
yes.
therapeutic, we also have a wide range of oxygen support for non-invasive and invasive ventilation. We have ECMO for those who are really
Yes.
hypoxemic that cannot be salvaged by conventional ventilation and so on. So, but apart from the equipment, I'm blessed to have a team, no, of doctors who are really very enthusiastic and always ready to update themselves. We always review our guides and our protocols so that we can always update and try to refine our processes.
Okay. So I presume that's what makes the institution stand out in terms of pulmonary care. You have so many tests. Tests that I have not even heard of before.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I only know about the pulmonary function test and the spirometer,
Yes,
right? That's
correct.
And then you have that one about the it's more complicated than the
Yes, the
prim-
metacholine, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, can you give our audience some advice on how they can keep their lungs healthy?
Okay, so of course, breathing is a basic need, no? So the air we breathe, we make sure that we are in properly ventilated areas.
Okay.
We can measure our air quality actually through apps or other.
Okay. So there are apps right now
Yes,
for that.
yes.
Okay.
So of course, we don't want to smoke or vape, or if you are a current smoker or vapor, we want to quit.
Yes.
Of course, cough etiquette is quite important, no? Sa infections. Minsan yung mga Pinoy, di ba, dumudura sa
Yes.
sa kalye, ganyan,
Yes,
no?
yes.
So, and masking is important. If we have been at PCCP, the Philippine College of Chest Physicians, we were advocates of the cough dab, no? Trying to cough through your sleeve because sometimes some of the microbes you might be able to spread it if you cough through your hands.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's also important to wash your hands as well, no, frequently
And
after
then,
you cough. And
correct. Proper nutrition, vaccination, no? Some of our countrymen, no, medyo may vaccine hesitancy.
Yes, that's right.
Or inavailability naman. So we want to bridge that.
Okay. What are the vaccines that are available when it comes to pulmonary?
Okay, so
diseases?
for pulmonary diseases, we have influenza vaccine. So
influenza
for that's the
vaccine,
flu,
that's right.
I would recommend that everybody will get a yearly dose of flu vaccine. Now we also have the pneumococcal vaccine.
Yes, that's right. Pneumococcal vaccine.
And then there's also available the RSV or respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. And then for some, they might need boosters for pertussis, diphtheria. Yan.
Okay. So what sort of symptoms should we look out for so that our audience know when they should get checked
Okay,
for their lung ailments?
Prolonged cough lasting
Okay.
more than 2 weeks. And then especially those with a lot of phlegm or blood-streaked sputum,
Okay.
chest pains that are persistent, or chest pains that are manifesting, especially when taking a deep breath.
Okay.
Shortness of breath on exertion, like when you used to do this activity and then now you're limited because you are short of breath. Nowadays, an oximeter is quite handy. Almost everyone would have access.
That's right.
Now, if your oxygen level is decreasing in trend, then maybe you need to consult.
Okay. So, can you also tell us how, because we're undergoing ever-changing weather patterns now, and this is not too good a symptom for those with asthma.
Correct.
So, how can patients with asthma cope with this kind of situation?
Okay. So for asthmatic patients, you have to learn how to identify your triggers. No? Not
Okay.
all naman are triggered by weather. Although some would have more flare-ups during rainy season, some naman would have more flare-ups during summer season. So you have to know when, so that you are aware na padating na yung burr months, padating na yung rainy season. So you can start taking your controller medications or some preventers. Apart from that, pagka rainy season medyo kulob, no?
Yes,
It's
yes.
moist, so there might be some overgrowth of molds and so on. So just be aware of that.
Okay. So, we're nearing the end of our program. What is your message to the audience regarding lung health, regarding our Lung Month celebration? What's your message?
So, the air that we breathe is so basic and it's shared by everyone. So having clean air should be an effort for everyone. No?
Okay.
We want to have more trees. We want to reduce our pollution. We don't want to cause further worsening of our climate change. And of course, we don't want to cause harm to our lungs. No? As I've said, most of our lung diseases are preventable. So do not smoke, do not vape, and always be aware. No, sometimes, of course, we're not even aware that we are breathing. Pero a little bit of difficulty, you have to be more attuned to your body so that you
Okay.
can consult early.
Okay. And where do the patients go when they want to have themselves checked?
Okay, so they can just go to St. Luke's Medical Center. If it's a checkup, routine checkup, you can go to the Wellness Center.
Okay.
Or you can just call the Institute of Pulmonary Medicine and they will guide you what to do.
Okay. With that, Freshly Brewed would like to thank Dr. Gwen for your time and for sharing with us some valuable information about our lung health. Don't forget this, you will never know just how much you value your breath until you can't breathe. This has been Anne Ruth Dela Cruz, BusinessMirror's Health and Fitness Editor. Please stay tuned for the next episode of Freshly Brewed.
And that wraps up our Freshly Brewed episode for today. Thank you for tuning in to our Freshly Brewed. Stay informed, stay inspired, and make smarter choices every day with Business Mirror. For the latest stories and updates, visit our website, businessmirror.com.ph, for a broader look at today's business. And follow us on our social media channels. Stay ahead, no more, and see you next time.